Welcome everyone to this demo day of Berkeley SkyDeck Europe Milano. And it's great to see so many of you in the room and connected online.
Hi everybody, how are you doing today? Are you excited? Yes! All right, this is a great audience. We have some amazing startups for you. We're gonna get to them, but first we have a special treat. So you're gonna hear from some very interesting people about what's going on in the world of venture capital and LPs today. Anders, tell them more.
So, before we get started, we have the chance to have the first panel led by you. So we're looking at how foundations are shaping Italy's startup ecosystem. Okay, shall we get started? Let's invite our wonderful panelists. Please join on stage. Please welcome Carlo Mango. Please welcome Paolo Mulaseno and Carlo Mannoni to the stage. Gentlemen, here, go ahead, sit there. Al centro. Okay, we're going to have two rapid-fire panels, just enough for these gentlemen to tell you some interesting things about what they're doing and get some of their I asked them to think of something provocative that you don't always tell an audience. Actually, I didn't say that to you. You're just hearing this just now. So yeah, please, we just have a short time. I'm just going to ask two questions. But yeah, we'd love to really do a quick deep dive into what you're thinking. Before we start, please introduce yourselves, your title, and a little bit about your foundation, and then we'll get to the questions. So go ahead, we'll start here.
Hello everybody, my name is Carlo Mannoni. I'm the general manager of Fondazione di Sardegna. I am the CEO of Innoise, that is our company focused on innovation. Sardinia is an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, if someone is not aware of this, and I'm very happy to be here with these friends.
Excellent. Carlo Mango.
Hi, I'm Carlo Mango, CEO of Cariplo Factory, head of research and technology transfer at Cariplo Foundation, based in Milan. So happy to be here and to share some ideas with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here as well. It's a very, very wonderful moment for me. I'm the head of the so-called Planet Goal within Compagnia di San Paolo Foundation. Compagnia di San Paolo has been established in 1563, so it's a quite old institution. And within the Compagnia, I deal with all the philanthropic initiatives in the dimension of research, innovation, together with investments in startups, funds, and so on.
So I like it that your foundation was founded before my whole country was founded.
That's true.
So foundations play a key role here in Italy. And it really is remarkable that you're here, right? 5-10 years ago, this wouldn't have been a role for you. So we'd love for each of you to talk about what is it that motivates you and your foundation to get involved in innovation ecosystem, to support startups, to join us here today. Just talk about that. Go ahead.
I start? Okay. So we are quite younger than Compagnia di San Paolo. I would say that Fondazione di Sardegna was born during the phase of privatization of the banking system. So we have little more than 30 years. And just talking about this recent phase, we had different phases. At the very beginning, this kind of organization, at least Fondazione di Sardegna, was without internal skills, was basically a board that was distributing money that was coming from the bank that originated the asset, okay? And this was the very beginning. Then the things changed, and now all, I would say, foundations like ours changed their skin in some way, you know? So we have people inside, we organize things, we make projects, and we realized that it was necessary to go beyond, let's say, funding, only funding, okay? This is particularly true in a place like Sardinia. Sardinia, as I mentioned, was joking, but I mean, is let's say, at the edge of Europe in some way, no? So it's not Turin or Milan that are, let's say, at the center of, let's say, the Italian economy. So the big challenge for us was how we can be involved in something that helps our context to grow, not only to be supported in terms of culture, in terms of other activities. First of all, the relation with the universities, so research and supporting the university. Second thing, the young people, schools and so on and so forth. Third thing, we need to do something more, to act, no? What we did is we decided to start. I mean, I came in 10 years ago, and my background is financial economics, and I work in the ICT sector. So we decided gradually, of course, to enter this activity, and was in parallel to what was happening in the rest of our, let's say, network, because this world is a network. We have the benefit to, let's say, exchange ideas, and also to, let's say, take some idea from the other colleagues and use it. And we believe that innovation was one of the things that can, from one side, create a context, create an ecosystem, and from the other side, allow young people and new enterprises to come to Sardinia, to work there, and at the end of the day, to create something that will help to grow our island, basically. This was the strategy, and we built different things. One is Innoise, a company that is called Innoise, which means innovation and ideas for Sardinia. And recently we started another important project that is called Frontech, that is managed together with CDP, with Cariplo Factory, with Jellyfy, and with Innoise. And so we are trying to stay, let's say, at the same pace of the rest of Italy, the rest of Europe, and hopefully being connected and create a bidirectional relation that will help also our island to grow and to create innovation by itself.
Wonderful, thank you. Carlo M.
As far as our foundation, it could be interesting to know that we are a generalist grant-making foundation, so it means that we fund different projects in different areas, and so starting from arts and culture, then to environment, and then to social services, and then to research. As far as research is concerned, it could be interesting to dive in this area, because I mean, when we talk about the ecosystem, our ecosystem here, it's important to underline the role of research organization, both universities, private institutions, but also, you know, the effort to generate here a sort of pole of attractiveness for international businesses. One proof of this is the initiative called Mind here in a local district devoted to innovation. And this aspect is very, very important for us, because it means that as a grant-making foundation, we are granting research, but what next? What about the last mile of research exploitation? Mm-hmm. So the story is that we started, as other foundations did, around Italy, banking foundation mainly, to grant and to fund initiatives concerning research exploitation. So, for instance, we started with some friends here. I mean, I'm happy to see them. In 2007, when we started a fund dedicated in this field for tech transfer on science-based businesses. So this was the first definition. And I must say that in this period, let me share this aspect, the word startup was not used by those kind of businesses, were mainly spin-off, university spin-offs. And we know this because after some years, someone asked us, okay, but don't you think that these businesses are too much theoretical? Okay, listen, but we started in 2007, so with the first tech transfer fund here in Italy, also reaching a huge amount of money that was really funded afterwards. So our motivation was to have, and try to be effective in the last mile that is not covered by foundation. The other aspect is why on startups, okay? But, you know, it's an important aspect is that, in our opinion, startups are key actors in the transformative trends, both digital, but you know, also in the energy transition, they are very, very important. The other aspect is that startups could provide to some talents the opportunity to generate businesses in the ecosystem, also including other young people with sharing job opportunities. Another important aspect that for our as a foundation is very, very significant. So this is the reason we are very motivated. We are, investing also a lot of money, and I close my small intervention sharing with you also the motivation of our foundation in generating a place like this place, Cariplo Factory. We started in 2016, okay, with a group of colleagues, program officer of the foundation, thinking about, okay, but what we can do, in order to provide concrete opportunities to, you know, young talents, to startups, also trying to attract some talents in the international landscape here in our region. And so we started this experiment. Now this is not an experiment because we will have in 2026 our 10th birthday, and it's important to see to understand that for us was a very innovative approach, because we decided to have a skin in the game, okay, and to generate a company, a benefit a benefit company devoted to the for purpose company of the foundation, that try to melt together two different areas of that for us are important. The first one is related to boosting open innovation processes involving startups. Another comment: open innovation without startup doesn't exist. This is the second area was trying to merge the importance of such an implementation for a foundation that want also to generate opportunity for the good, for the common good. And so this is the reason why we boosted our intervention of the innovation devoted to, also the activities that are carried out together with the foundation.
Thank you, Carlo. Paolo.
Thanks. Well, actually, of course, I share most of, or I would say, everything both Carlo and I said already. In particular, two things. I want to highlight two things. First of all, foundations are not anymore ATM machines. Okay, so we did in the past the ATM job, but we are not anymore an ATM machine. Second, the why. Okay, we are all aware that in the mission 4 of our resiliency plan in Italy, our government, Europe, invest 30 billion euros. Okay. Part of these 30 billion euros, a given number, created many opportunities in the different universities all over Italy. In particular, in Politecnico di Torino only, I know this data because of course we work there. Soon we will have 1,800 PhDs. Okay, so now they are students. Soon they will be new high-skilled workers. Okay, so the reason why Compagnia di Sao Paulo is in this game, in this area of providing opportunities for talents is because we will have soon a huge amount of talents. And again, with numbers, 1,800 PhDs is an investment of around 220 million, okay? Of course, we as a taxpayer are paying for that. So why not use philanthropic grants to give them opportunities? And in order to give them opportunities, and I'm pretty sure that in Politecnico di Milano and University of Milano and the University of Sassari as well, they are very good in high tech in Sassari as well. There are numbers, I mean equivalent numbers, okay? So we have to, we feel the reason why we have this strong push to provide these people opportunities, of course, to be workers in companies that are already there, but why not offering them the opportunity to open their company, to launch their company. And to do that, of course, we created over the past years many opportunities, many services, many ideas. We worked on together with Cariplo and other foundations. I give you one example, which has been quite successful, and I believe it's interesting for investors, which is the POC instrument. We worked hard and we invested more than 12 million till now for grants for researchers in universities to work on the proof of concept without any kind of equity option. So we are not a bank. We use philanthropic money. We use grants. And we like to provide these people the opportunity to increase the so-called TRL, the technology readiness level. So here the idea is not to invest only in research advancements, but in the, if you want, advancements toward the market, okay? We would like these people to produce things, concrete things, that can be in the interest of investors, okay? And we created this initiative exactly without any kind of equity option, because of course we want to prepare these people for the market, okay? And we believe we launched the strategic plan for Compagnia di São Paulo 25-28, and this initiative is there. We believe we will increase our amount of investments there, and soon we will have a push on the deal flow, okay? So we would like to increase the number of startups, why not unicorns and programs, but we like very much to put together with acceleration programs also this kind of initiative that goes deeply in the academy, within the academy.
So I think it's fair to say that foundations may be perceived in the past as being sort of large social benefit, but more and more you're taking a very active role in being at the cutting edge. And you can uniquely do that because of your resources. So because of you, there will be a lot more innovation and startups in Italy. So that's fantastic. And also to that effect, you're LPs now in funds. So you think about, who am I investing in? Anybody raising here? We have 3 LPs right here. How do you think about it? What's your strategy? Are there certain industries? Give us a deep dive into what are you trying to accomplish as an LP? Go ahead, Carlo.
Okay. I will tell a little story because it's important from my standpoint, and also because it's connected to what we have said before. I think, let's say, from my standpoint, I will divide the 2 moments, 2 phases, separated phases. The first phase, with specific regard to Italy, because we can have also asset allocation, let's say general asset allocation made directly or not directly for, let's say, the entire market. But talking about the VC market in Italy, I think that the first phase that for me was, let's say, from 10 to 5 years ago, was quite, let's say, I would feel a pioneer in some way, because apart from a small group of foundations, and here you have most of them, I would say. This was not an asset class that was considered, so it was very risky, and it is, of course. And we started investing with the idea to help creating an Italian ecosystem. And what happened is that everybody here knows the story. At some stage, CDP, Cassa Deposit e Prestito, came in and reorganized the entire ecosystem. I'm pretty proud to say that we were already inside some of these initiatives, and let's say from that point everything changed. Now we can say that we can consider venture capital as an asset class. Also the Italian ecosystem. And this is, I think, is a very positive news, no? Because we are, let's say, receiving a lot of interesting proposals, and I would say very differentiated in terms of, let's say, dimension on the funds, sectors, and experience of the teams, and so on and so forth. So, from a standpoint, now we are starting, let's say, with regard to the past, we had some satisfaction, but also we had also some difficulty to manage, okay? Now we are, let's say, looking at this asset class in Italy with a quite good, let's say, view. I would say I'm a little bit optimist because I'm seeing a lot of things in different sectors, let's say, from the clean tech to the AI, of course. Some AI is everywhere, so no problem. And but I mean, my view as with regard for the future investment, we are trying to differentiate with a matrix that is made by sectors, people, and dimension of the funds. And Italy is starting to be a place where also, I think, international investors and also the pension funds that were missing, basically, in the very first phase, are now entering this market, which will be very useful to make it grow very rapidly.
Very good. Carlo Mango.
I mean, an important aspect is that, I mean, as foundations, years ago we were considered risk averse in some ways. No, the risk taking was. No?
We still are.
We still are risk averse, and it means that if you talk about venture capital, of course, there is in the basket of the initiatives that are managed by our person deputy to this. To the investments, okay, you have to convince them that is important. So, but I think that during the years, with initiatives such as SkyDeck Berkeley, Milan, we produced and we are in the position of providing them a proof of concept that in some ways with a lot of prudence, but could be an area that is very, very important in a pocket that is, of course, differentiated, so provides also, a foundation with the right approach. It is important to know that as foundation, our story is a story that was determined by law. And we were, my past president said, we are an endowment that cannot be touched, okay? Have to be preserved. And for this reason, here you can find and you can read some aspect of our DNA. But there are initiatives that are very, very relevant. We provided the evidence that something could be done. And the most important aspect is that, you have a proof of this, taking a look to those three peoples that are here, that foundation, work together and try to cooperate more and more in different fields, and innovation could be one of these fields of cooperation. And this is important. And the other aspect is that, of course, our innovation, national, domestic ecosystem changed in the last year thanks to Cassa Depositi e Prestiti that provided us a sort of connective tissue between different local initiatives, putting together efforts, funds, and the other aspect is that now we are trying to have more and more attention to these kind of vehicles of investments, also because our mission is to provide initiative mainly in the social sector, in the not-for-profit sector, but with the idea of seed money, seeding projects in order to make them offering the possibility to grow. And this is, if you take a look at this principle, this is the same that happens during the exploitation process and the process of generation within startups in different fields. So I think that there's a future on this line, and the foundation are, with other actors, the best candidate to be a part for this kind of ecosystem that I think has a real challenge, not try to design a local, a domestic, a national ecosystem, but try also to be attractive on the most powerful talents at international level. This is the really proof of concept that we are looking for.
Very good point. You know, your ecosystem is very powerful when people move to it and stay. That's a very good point.
Exactly.
Paolo.
Exactly. So we are, in this sense, risk adverse as well. Just again.
I don't believe that, by the way.
No. We did. Unfortunately, our board is quite strong on that. Just to give you some numbers, within our asset allocation, out of 11 billion of overall asset value, 400 million are dedicated to VC. Okay, so it's not a large part. Okay?
A good start.
Huh?
A good start.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, not so bad.
We should evaluate the. Unfortunately, after 2021, we saw a performance in this asset class that was not so good. But anyway, yes, what we are looking for the future, for sure, someone that will help us in the creation of the ecosystem, as you said. Someone that can work with us to attract talents, as Carlo said, and someone that will be with us in the open to the world initiative, so internationalization. Okay, so we like very much this kind of approach, and we look forward to find partners for these initiatives. Just to be clear on that, the particular attitude of foundation is that we can use both the grants together with investments. So we have this opportunity to work on the operational expenses as well as capital investments. Okay? And this is something quite unique. We had the conversation around this opportunity many times with Stefano, with CDP. And this is something that we can maybe better analyze and better put as an added value of foundation out of all the players that are in the ecosystems as well. So this is something that we will work on.
All right. Well, I'm hearing that you're risk averse, but I think you're risk friendly is what I would say. You're considering going on a date with risk, right? And maybe doing more. So
I want to take some risks.
yeah, take it slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it slow.
We will do our best.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Please join me in thanking these gentlemen and giving us your insights. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we're going to switch gear and we're going to still talk about investments, but we're going to look into what's going in European venture capital and get some insights. There's a big debate now. I just read an article yesterday by the Swedish Prime Minister that was asking the question, why are Swedish unicorn being listed at NASDAQ? He mentioned Spotify, that's already been a NASDAQ for some years. And the new one, which is Klarna, another unicorn from Sweden, that's going to be enlisted at NASDAQ this spring. And the question was, what's wrong with the Stockholm Exchange, the London, Paris, or Frankfurt, or any other Milano exchange that exists in Europe, and how can we attract capital? So I think we get into a healthy discussion, how we can stand on our own legs in Europe and make sure that our startups get invested and catered for also in the long run. But I would like to welcome up here with me, Lucas, Tanya, and Francesca, so we can have a discussion on what's going on in Europe. But before we get started, I would like each of you to just present yourself and give a little bit of background so people know who you are.
Yeah, hi, happy to start. I'm Lucas, investment director with the Redstone. Redstone is a Berlin-headquartered German early-stage investor. We've been around for roughly 12 years now, among the 10 most active investors in Germany. Manage 700 million assets under management, have an active portfolio of, I think, more than 150 companies by now. What sets us apart from others is that we have what we like to call a multi-fund strategy. So instead of operating one big agnostic fund, we, I think, have 8 active funds that we invest out of at the moment, each of which typically follows a sector strategy. So we like to set up specialized sector-focused smaller vehicles, mainly investing from pre-seed to Series A. To give an idea, we have a fintech fund, a PropTech fund, Industry 4.0, Quantum. The fund that I'm personally responsible for is our health and education fund. Yeah.
So may I continue? So I'm Tanya, I'm partner at HTGF, that's a tech seed fund. We are located in Germany and 20 years active. We have 2 billion under management. In the current seed fund, 500 million plus an opportunity fund from 600 million. We make 40 investments per year in seed stage. So we love everything in tech, from life sciences, industrial tech, digital tech. Tech is our space. I'm now 11 years with the company, and yeah, you put up a big topic, IPOs in Europe, so we really love to see more of that.
Hi everyone, does it work? Yeah. Very nice being here. My name is Francesca. I'm head of investor relations at Ventec. I don't know if you guys know, Ventec is was born as a French fund. Nowadays, we are in France, Germany, and in the Nordics. We're a generally early stage fund and pan-European.
Great. So I would like to start with, we heard the foundation speaking before about they were a bit risk averse, but still investing, looking at VCs as an asset class. From your perspective, receiving investment from LPs and things, what do you see as the trends or changes in terms of asset classes or geographical focus? What's your experience attracting investment so you can invest in the startups?
Happy to start. I did my homework before, so I just did a little bit of a quick web search, and I found that last year, 2024, in Europe, I think it was a total of 20 billion invested in European VC funds across roughly 160 vehicles. So first of all, this was an all-time low considering the last decade. And second of all, and this is linked to your opener, if we just do a quick exercise together, a quick math exercise. So on average, 20 billion across 160 fund, that's roughly 120 million. Let's assume there's that they're equally distributed. To return those 120 million once to your investors, and assuming like a 10% target stake at exit, you need an exit of 1.2 billion. at least one per fund to return your fund once. Then I also did a little research. And what do you think is the number of European VC-backed tech exits in the last 5 years that sold for more than 1 billion? Anyone, any idea? 6. Right, so it's extremely hard to return a fund of 120 million. It's extremely hard in Europe because our exit markets are, excuse my language, fucked. Right, so they're non-existent. And the big European success cases go to the US to list on NASDAQ, and it's just extremely difficult. At the same time, LPs look for our track record and DPI, right? Which, if there's no exits, it's extremely tricky to show that you managed to actually return money to your investors, and flashy TVPI because of highly inflated valuations that no one's ever going to pay. It's also very tricky. Where you still can generate DPI is in small vehicles, investing in pre-seed, under 100 million, under 50 million. But those are then, on the other hand, emerging managers, first, second generation of funds with no track record. So we're a bit in a pickle, I think.
Thank you. That's impressive numbers.
Yeah, so I can talk a bit about our experience. We have corporate investors mainly on board, so we have 45 corporate investors from the German industry. And of course, besides DPI, they're interested in innovation. But what we see, they're getting, even though it should be the time where you should really work on innovation, they're getting more and more hesitant. So you're looking more into specialized niches, specialized funds, specialized technologies to really move something forward, and less in the general tech space. And on top of that, it's that they are focusing on more, as you say, more niche, smaller funds to really make sure they get the returns out of it. And the thing is that the companies will then later on sold to the US, so they are not kept in Europe, so that's keeping them back. And so the alternative in the IPO market, you do not have quite in Europe, so that makes it harder to find an alternative to that.
So we have a lot of institutional investors. Actually, we're a bit of an exception, I think. A lot of French, German, and also a few in the Nordics. We're still missing some Italians. From what I've seen in the market, I do think there's still an interest for generalist funds at the end of the day, especially those generalist funds that have a team that's really an expert and can really access some high quality deal flow. So I do still see an interest from LPs there. It's true that there's a clear trend towards thematic funds. I was back in January. I was reading the State of Tech from Atomico, and a quite interesting data was that in December 2024, actually 54% of LPs were in due diligence for deep tech funds, and something around 42% LPs were in due diligence for sustainability funds, and half of the whole LPs were in due diligence for thematic funds. So I do think that, they're in due diligence, they hadn't committed yet, but this definitely shows an interest from the market in thematic funds to look for returns and better expertise. So there's a clear trend there. I do think generalist funds are still on the table, and I don't think a lot of LPs, when it comes to geographies, they're really focusing on geographies. So very like funds, VC funds that look specifically at one little region of France, except if there is a real edge there. For instance, I don't know, the Caisse d'Épargne, I speak about France because it's a market I know really, really well. Caisse d'Épargne of the Champagne region is going to look at maybe some incubators or some VC funds that are going to focus there. But I think it's less clear that geographical trend. And yes, I hear the DPI theme a lot. I think a lot of, DPI is a very difficult figure to show. A lot of LPs want to see it. It's difficult because in Europe, and also in the US and a bit everywhere, VC have, the J curve is a bit longer. So it's not always easy, and it would be great to have a lot of financial education around this, also for institutional investors to really understand the market. I think in the Nordics, institutional investors are more used to seeing DPI at the very end of the fund, which can go to 14 years, especially if you do early stage. But yeah, it's definitely, the DPI topic is definitely a trend.
And maybe to add to it, like I think like 21, 22, we had really a big time for first-time funds, especially in the impact fields. And I think this is going a bit back because all the LP investors are looking for track record, and that's a bit the DPI of take us. So first-time funds will have much harder time fundraising. So yeah, well.
And we launched one in 2020.
Yeah. It's a challenging landscape, we understand that, but I think it's also important that maybe we pull together in Europe and try to understand how we can preserve the investments and also attract, because there's a lot of capital in Europe. It's just how to manage it and maybe raise the discussion about these topics, and this is important. That's why I was interested that the Prime Minister in Sweden spoke about this, because I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed. But if we shift to you and look at where you find the startups and what you invest in, and everybody is speaking about AI, and some of the startups here today will see also have AI. What does AI mean, and what are other trends or areas that you think are important for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great and very open question, right? We could probably go on forever, discuss it. For me personally, as I said, I mainly invest in health and education in the early stages. At Redstone, we also cover a bunch of other industries. And if I had to say, it was a gut feeling, like the portion of companies having AI in the name or claiming to do something with AI is very big these days in our deal flow. To be honest, there's a lot of commoditization happening across all the sectors with vast access to foundational models, and we are mainly talking application layer, right? And so it's something that I feel is extremely helpful, coming from a background of more industry-focused funds and having at least the ambition to come up with, to have developed a lot of industry expertise in the field, is really to understand the main value drivers when it comes to distribution and go-to-market. If from a tech perspective, a lot of solutions out there have not a lot of moat or defensibility. So we've actually spent the last half year really deep diving into the application layer in the respective industries that we cater to, trying to understand what the most promising use cases are, and then trying to see maybe where we could also have a bit of edge or a bit of value add with regards to the distribution. This is as pragmatic of an answer as I can give.
For us, I think it's a bit the same direction. So, I mean, AI is nothing new. Like, the trend exists for 30 years. It's just a bit more trendy in this way and another way. So I don't think they're the big findings in finding the new algorithm or something, but it's really about what you said, like the use cases where we can make the play, especially in Europe, as we have probably less data than China or something like that to really build on the algorithms. So it's really important to have the specialized use case in the industries, or for instance in medtech and stuff like that. I'm saying that's where our placement is, and we see a lot in that space. So, but it's not that. I mean, on every pitch deck there's something with AI in it, and you really have to look deep down at what's really the AI about. You know, can it really make a change?
Yep. So it's important, but that's not the only thing you look at, let's say, when you come to...
Yeah, not as such. You really have to look in the industry, what's the specialized use case in it, how they can make a disruptive change, how they can adapt it into the industry, and from there on you build it. It's not just enough to have AI.
Yeah, and I agree. We're actually discussing about this before. So we are Ventec, we're a generalist fund. We do have themes every year or 6 months, it depends. AI is one of them, but we're looking at AI applications. So it's not the LLM, there really needs to be an applicable model to it. For instance, like we did AI applied to small and medium enterprises and their logistic chain there. We did another investment in AI, medtech linked to AI. So there's always needs to be an angle there. Definitely it's attracting a lot of investment. It was around 37% in 2024, which is a crazy number. And I think what's super interesting in this 37% of investment in AI last year was that 3/4 of this were actually early stage, which actually means that investors are not just going for it because it's the hype right now. It really means that they're positioning themselves for the long term, which is what we're trying to do as well. And yeah, so AI investment is definitely a big thing for us. On the other side, I think AI is also changing how we work ourselves at every single venture capital fund. It's changing really the tool set from deals, so it's changing the way we do sourcing. For instance, like we had built now 10 years ago, because we have been around for 25 years, so we're quite old. So we had built this radar to monitor various companies and early stage companies that would get traction, and now we implemented AI in this radar system. We use it to do sourcing, and it's working very well, and it allows you actually to spot companies before before the founder decides to do fundraising. So that's a quite good one. We also apply AI to do due diligence. It's much more efficient. And you need less people on it, less checks, less back and forth, so it's very efficient. We use it for monitoring at firm level, at portfolio level. It's quite effective there as well. And as far as I'm related, I use it for investor relations as well, for the sales and reporting efforts there. It's really good. So yeah, AI is a trend. I think here I go back to what you were saying at the beginning. I think Europe is really strong there. We have companies like, I go back to France, but we have like Mistral AI. So very strong players. And I think it's important that in Europe we have an ecosystem to keep them in and not make them go out, look for capital later on in the US or elsewhere. Because unfortunately, 1 out of 4 startups ends up going to the US when looking for later stage capital, because in Europe we tend to do many less later rounds. So yeah, so I think Europe here has to buckle up and find ways to fund those later stages.
And maybe also to mention it, for some startups, AI is a threat, because like the startups have been in the market and working for, I don't know, with productivity tools or something like that, and who really miss the AI trend and innovate on their own product, do the pivot and implement AI, they probably get overruled by another AI startup, because the buyers in the end of the day, they will look for the new technology, and if they miss to do that, they really miss time to market for their own exits. So that's really something they need to watch out.
Yep.
Maybe 1 or 2 things to add. I think also trying to take 2 steps back and I don't know if you believe in what's been discussed in LinkedIn over the last couple of weeks and months. The new North Star KPI for AI startup is ARR per FTE. Right? So it's like we generate 5 million ARR per FTE. So essentially meaning that you can reach very impressive levels of revenues with a very lean team, hence team being one of the main cost drivers of early stage companies, very little burn and in a very capital efficient way. Thinking this through is also quite a threat to the existing, from an investor, to the existing VC model, right? If you can actually get to a point where you can reach commercial stages of a company that historically was only possible with millions and tens and hundreds of millions of VC funding. Now you might be able to actually finance through your own cash flow and revenues if you have a smart pricing model with, I don't know, where your customers pay you 12 months in advance. And we've talked to a bunch of those companies. Is also very, very interesting. Because then again, as an investor, you're like, okay, I could invest in you, but if you don't need the money, what is the value add beyond the money that I can offer? Right? This is a discussion we've had quite a lot of times in the last couple of months, which is quite interesting, I believe.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your contribution. I think it was very interesting to have this as a complement to the previous panel, because I think this is the kind of the journey on the value creation, and I think it's important that there are funds that are pre-seed, seed, and have the long experience on finding talent in the market, but then we need to be able to follow it. We need also reach the IPOs to have the exits to feed the system back again. I think that we should have more debate and discussion how to create that in action, maybe to do it. Yeah.
Can I
Sure.
add one thing, and maybe a little wish, because I mean I totally agree with what you've been saying. I mean we need more European capital, and it's a bit of a vicious cycle. Like if there's no exits, then there's no new investors. If you look at who are the biggest LPs in Europe, it's governance, it's public money mainly, so another way to possibly look at this is how can we activate new sources of capital. And one big difference between the US and Europe is pension money. All right, so we at Redstone, we actually did a little study. It's a study, I think we call it a study, that actually showed that North American pension funds, in purely economic terms, are benefiting more from the growth of European startup systems than European pension funds. In Germany, pension funds basically no rule. There's also a regulatory issue, but I think this could be an interesting alley to explore, just in trying to diversify your LP base and unlocking new forms of capital that previously have not been investing into VC funds. Just an idea.
And yeah, if I can add to this, connecting to what you said, I completely agree. And actually, another way to unlock capital for venture capital funds in Europe and to fund innovation in Europe would actually be to have more money coming in from institutional investors. Because if we compare to the US VC funds are backed by 70% of institutional investors. So 70% is institutional investors. In Europe, that number goes down to 30%, which is insane when we think that Europe has the first biggest insurance market in the world and the second biggest pension fund market in the world. Pension fund allocate something like 0.024% of their AUM to VCs. In the US, that number goes up to 5%. So the capital is there in Europe, it's just it's not going into VC. Yeah, as you were saying, it's a lot of the ecosystem in Europe. The VC ecosystem is sustained by public institutions like EIF, BPI France, that give stability to the environment. Now, their contributions to the VC funds, they actually went a little bit down because of the current macroeconomical ecosystem. Public spending wants to go down. So yeah, there's definitely something to be done there around institutional investors. There were a lot of, we were talking about this before, there are a lot of local initiatives. In Italy, GDP is a main actor. In France, you had the TB label that was put in place. In Germany, I think you guys will pronounce this better than me, the Wachstum funds. So there are local initiatives to pour money into venture. What we're missing, I think, it's more of like a European effort, so like a framework where that doesn't like cut what's happened locally, but it creates a framework, is a coordination at European level to create European champions and eventually allow startups to get more funding, especially at the later stage. Because otherwise we have talent and amazing companies relocating to the US, and we're losing talent, we're losing IP, and we're also losing potentially long-term returns because those entrepreneurs, they're going to move to the US or elsewhere, and they're going to maybe create another company there, creating returns there. So I think there's a lot to be done in Europe, but there are discussions about this, so we're positive.
Exactly. So we should all, I think, collaborate to make sure we make some action and make things happen, because I think this is needed. I can testify as being part of this wonderful Berkeley SkyDeck Europe program. That was the intent. It was trying to take the inspiration of the US. I love US for those things, but then give the possibility to the startups to grow and raise funds in Europe, to remain in Europe. And I think that this collaboration and exchange to be able to go both ways is very, very important. So thank you for your very inspiring reflections and comments, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Caroline, why don't we continue? And maybe we should explain a little bit more about Berkeley SkyDeck and then also the European programs. Why don't you start?
Okay, real quick, because I know you want to get the startup pitches, right? You're ready? Okay, just a few minutes. What is Berkeley SkyDeck? We are UC Berkeley's Startup Accelerator and Incubator. We are the largest program as part of campus. We're the premier accelerator. Our startups, we've hosted over 1,800 in the past 10 years since I've been there. 10 years, unbelievable. And I'm still having a great time. We are, of course, helping our companies raise funds. They've collectively raised about $2 billion. We need to update that number. I know it's bigger now. And of course, we're part of one of the world's top universities and the #1 public university.
So the European program is possible thanks to the great collaboration between Berkeley SkyDeck, Cariplo Factory, and Lendlease. And in the picture you can see the Tree of Life out at Mind, where we kind of bring together all the startups. This 6-month program would only be possible if we had 2 foundation partners. And therefore, Fondazione Cariplo and Lombardia deserve a warm applause and a thank you, because of the contributions they've been making this happen. The other important piece of the European program is this, the advisors, because the advisors are the people that every day work together with the startups, they challenge them, they support them, they guide them through the program. And we have more than 800 advisors today, both based in the US and in Europe. And I know there are advisors in here, so please, could advisors that are here, please stand up so we could give you an applause.
Please stand up, advisors. We want to give you a nice round of applause, and
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We spoke about the program, but we're only 9 startups today. And how did it all start?
Well, I'll tell you. So we received 2,400 applications in total for all the Berkeley SkyDeck program startups. So that's Berkeley and Europe. Quite a large number. We were very, very busy. It's actually even a bigger number now. You'll hear about that next time. And they were from all over the world. You can see from this breakdown, they're not just from Europe or not just from Italy. They're from Asia, they're from US, and you'll see when you hear them pitch today all the variety of accents and cultures that's in this great batch. So if we're doing our math right, 9 startups in Europe and 18 in Berkeley, that comes to about a 1.2% acceptance rate. These startups went through a very, very tough filter to get here. We've given them a lot of resources, and we think you're really going to enjoy them. Tell us more about the program, Anders.
Yeah, so the program has different pillars. We talk about product market fit, we talk about the development of the go-to-market, and fundraising. And it's a journey. It started in November at Berkeley, so it was 1 month, very hands-on, meeting advisors, going to workshops to learn about different subjects. And then there was some time in between, virtually, and we came to Milan, that mind, to learn about workshops and fundraising. And that was end of January. And then we came back here, end of March, where we met with some VCs, we met with some previous founders that could speak about how they managed to grow and excel their companies. And then last Friday, we had a great day to prepare for these demos and pitches today. And so we went to Verbania at Lago Maggiore and had some fun as well. But before we get to the pitches now, how is it going for the previous startups on fundraising?
It's going well. We have two we'd like to point out, alumni startups from the Berkeley SkyDeck Europe program that have just raised very interesting pre-seed rounds. Ochi, a company from France that makes a very interesting algorithm that runners use to better their stride and prevent injuries. The other company we'd like to brag about is Switch. It's an Italian company. They make a platform to manage mobility fleets, and they just raised a very nice, sweet 946K round. So we're very proud of them, and it's your job today to figure out which ones you want to invest in so they raise their pre-seed rounds.
Okay, Caroline, we're getting close to the pitches now.
Okay, let's warm up the crowd. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to ask again in a minute, and I want it much louder. First, got to tell you what's happened. 5-minute pitch here today. Investors in the room, all of you, thank you for coming to join us in person. Afterwards, you can meet the startups at their booths. There is something to taste. Don't miss it. Those of you watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, you will see a form where you can fill that out to make an appointment directly with the startups. I'm going to ask you to do a nice round of applause when they come on stage, and then when they're done with their pitch, they've worked incredibly hard. They're all backstage, incredibly excited to pitch to you. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you want to hear some startup pitches? There we go. All right. Please come on out. Our very first founder is Alston. Come on out, Anna! Come on out. The crowd is waiting. Our first startup, a spin-off from Politecnico di Milano. They're using AI to save lives. Please welcome Anna Ramella.
Thank you.
More applause. Yes. Excellent.
Hi everyone, I'm Anna Ramella and I'm the co-founder of All Stand, where we are saving lives one stand at a time. Let me introduce you Antonio, 80 years old, a farmer, father of 3 and grandfather of 6, including myself. He suffered from a heart condition, and because of that he needed a stand. But the doctor selected the wrong stand, and because of that he didn't survive. The issue was that doctors were not able to select the best fit stand for his specific anatomy, so to avoid complications. Let me explain. When people are suffering from vascular pathology, they typically suffer from aneurysms, which means that the aorta starts enlarging. In order to treat this condition, doctors need to implant a stent. The life of the patient depends on that stent. If the stent is wrong, the patient is going to die, as it happens to my grandfather. The problem is that doctors need to select one stent out of 472 different options. And this is how they do it. This is a manual sketch that a doctor uses to select the stent for the patient. This is not working well, but it's the reality faced by more than 3 million patients every year undergoing stent surgery. This manual process is causing the death of 60,000 people every year. 25% of them need the second and third interventions, and in 35% of the cases, complications will develop. We can do better, and in fact we have. That's why we have created AllStent, where we are perfecting the stent graft implantation. We are developing an AI-powered procedural planning tool that provides and offers surgeons high-precision prediction on the outcome of the surgery. How does this work? In our platform, the doctor uploads the CT scan of the patient, as well as indication on the stent that he wants to implant. The platform itself creates their digital representation, and it provides doctors with a representation of the outcome of the surgery, with a prediction accuracy that is larger than 90%, validated with clinical data. With our stand, we are moving from this to this. And we are giving doctor indications that help them limiting and avoiding complications. With our stand, we are saving lives, providing doctor with the right stand graft in the right position, the best fit for the patient, the first time and every time. And all of this before the doctor and the patient are going into the surgery. Sorry. With our stand, all those numbers are going to change with the ambition of bringing them to zero. And without stand, my grandfather would still be with me. We have tested this technology on 61 real patients with collaboration with more than 36 doctors around Europe. We have exclusive global IP rights and 150K in pilot. In the next few months, we will focus on expanding our patient cohort, as well as preparing the documentation for FDA and EU MDR, so to be able to enter the market in 1-2 years from now. This is our market of total stent surgery simulation. We will start with the aortic aneurysms one, and specifically with the thoracic aortic ones, thoracic aortic aneurysms. Our go-to-market strategy is a B2B one, through the stent graft manufacturers, as they are the ones recommending the stents to the surgeons. Future options include clinical centers, and specifically in the North America and Europe. We will be offering our technology through a paper case and license subscription, both the current version and the future AI-powered one. Allstent is the only company that is able to simulate the stent implantation in the thoracic aorta. Our complementors and competitors are dealing with different anatomical districts. However, the accuracy of our model prediction is giving us a competitive advantage. This is our team. We are an academic spin-off of Politecnico di Milano, and in our team we have engineers, researchers, business people, and clinicians that can bring this to a commercial conclusion. Also thanks to the advice of SkyDeck Berkeley advisors. We are now raising 500,000 euros for run multiple studies on more than 100 cases, having collaborations with more than 20 hospitals in Europe, North America, train our AI model, having our software platform ready, and get the FDA clearance in less than 1 year. And if you want to discover more, you can scan the QR code. You can find us at our booth after the session. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Anna. All right. Those of you who are parents, don't you love putting your kids to sleep? It's so easy, right? Right? Here with the solution is Kate Popova of Fabler. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Kate Popova. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fabler. At Fabler, we are revolutionizing children's sleep using AI. Here's the deal. Kids don't sleep. Those who are smiling, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The first years with my daughter were about negotiating her to sleep. I spent countless hours. I didn't know what to do, and I failed every single night. And obviously, I am not the only one. I am one of 300 million parents worldwide who are struggling with it every single night. The issue is that kids want to feel company during bedtime. They actually want to feel safety that comes with their parents' presence. An average child loses around 10 hours of sleep weekly, while parents, we are losing around 14 hours trying to get our kids to sleep. And if it would be the only problem, it wouldn't be so bad. But statistically proven that lack of sleep leads to decrease of focus by 55%, leading to poor performance and poor level of attention. The weekend system is decreased by 30%, and both kids and parents simply getting ill more often. And 80% are stressed, burned out, and are facing mental health issues in the long run. Existing solutions like drugs are not simply not working. They even make the problem worse because they lead to life dependency and side effects. Screen time, like cartoons and games before sleep, they only increase neurostimulation, and for kids, even harder to fall asleep after. Sleep consultants, well, they are expensive, ineffective, and inaccessible for most. That's why we created Fabler, an AI-powered app that clones parents' voice and narrates bedtime stories for kids, so kids can feel and hear the voices of their parents while getting to sleep. Here's how it works. The parents read a short script for around a minute, our AI replicates the voice, and then a family simply chooses any story they like, and the story will be sound with the parent's voice. Let me show you how it looks like and sounds.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs who lived with their mother in a cozy home. They spent their days playing, eating, and sleeping, and the mother pig took care of them with love and dedication.
With Fabler, kids are able to fall asleep faster in a natural way and get back these 10 hours of sleep weekly. While parents, we have an extra 12 hours for our free time. But most importantly, the ability to stay focused for both kids and parents are increased by 50%. The weekend system is improved by 30%, and the level of stress and mental health issues are dropped down by 0. As mentioned, the market is huge. If you have a child, you need a solution, and the children's sleep market is expected to reach 50 billion in 5 years with the annual growth rate of 10%. Fabler is available via monthly and annual subscription, and we are also partnering with children's book authors, publishers, and kids brands. And the best part, the app is live. It is rated of 4.5 stars out of 5. We have gained more than 1,000 of paying customers who are using Fabler on a daily basis. Also, we are launching an AI-powered sleep consultant, sleep coach, to guide parents and provide answers, instant, personalized, and data-based information on their most precise questions about kids' bedtime. We have no direct competitors, but indirect ones like audiobooks. They simply lack personal touch. AI-generated stories are not safe enough, and they're not artistic, and it's so important to actually keep kids engaged, while at Fabler, we have it all. Our founding team consists of 3 founders covering product, tech, and marketing expertise, just what is required to raise Fabler. And the founding team is backed up with the amazing advisors who in total built more than 10 successful tech companies. Today, we are raising 500K to reach 1 million of ARR, acquire 100K new users, and expand to Italy, France, and DACH region. Thank you, and let's help families sleep better.
Thank you, Kate. Our next startup is Climate Tech, and they've developed a very innovative way to manage power infrastructure. Please welcome Annette and Gustav Ring.
Hi everyone, my name is Gustav Ring, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Annette, and we're making energy intelligent, because energy makes the world go round. Powers your phone, my computer, keeps your home warm. Still, electricity prices are a massive pain point for utility companies in a $2 trillion energy market. And this is because of inflexible demand and unpredictable supply. And this is something utility companies have to deal with on a daily basis, trying to buy just enough energy to meet the real-time demand of their customers. And of course, this is something hard to do because they don't have any control over when their customers consume electricity. Because of this, utilities are forced to pay up to 6 times more for electricity, pushing this cost on to their customers, of which almost half are very unhappy with the providers because of these prices. Because of this, almost a quarter of consumers switch their utility providers every year, costing the average utility company 6.1 million lost revenue each year. That is why we created Enect, an AI-driven energy optimization platform that enables, that gives companies insights into their energy consumption and enables it to optimize the timing of it automatically. So how does it work? First, we connect any given hardware device to our system using only an API setup, not installing any hardware. Then, our AI-based optimizer plans the consumption, of course, in a way which doesn't affect the end user. Then, Enect optimizes the timing of the consumption automatically. With this solution, consumers can save up to 80% on their electricity bill. The 50% of customers who are worried about high electricity prices will be more satisfied. The utility companies can lower their churn rate by up to 56% and save up to $3.4 million or euros annually. We already have signed more than 200K in revenue, and the corresponding hardware will be connected in the upcoming months. We have an additional 2.6 million in planning, and these will be signed soon. And going forward, of course, we have a lot more market to capture. Because the energy market is huge, and with the introduction of new energy sources, smart energy systems, and smart appliances, it is undergoing a massive transformation. Governments and utilities are actively investing in smart energy solutions in order to balance grid demand, making now a very interesting time on this market. We started by signing hardware installers, as they have a very natural connection to new hardware being installed. We're bundling Enect to make the offering even more compelling to customers. And going forward, we are broadening our partnerships to include actors like hardware operators, as well as utility companies, in order to bring our solution to even more customers. We have a B2B2C business model, where we charge between 1 and 4 euros monthly per connected device, making up only 10% of savings. We are offering a software-first solution, and since we're partnering with both hardware installers and producers, we are able to offer a seamless, out-of-the-box connection. Because of this, we make it feasible to connect the growing number of small, smart consumer devices. And to make our platform stand out even more, we're also introducing machine learning in order to enable predictive optimization. We are offering, sorry guys. We have a very competent team with experience from software engineering, energy markets, AI, and cybersecurity, and we have experience both from industry and academia. We also have the privilege of having 3 fantastic advisors from the Berkeley SkyDeck program, as well as the previous Swedish Minister of Energy active in our company. We are raising 1 million in order to increase our hardware compatibility by 50 times, reach 25,000 connected devices, and reach 2.6 million in revenue. Finally, energy is evolving. The future is flexible, it is intelligent, and it is cost efficient. With Enect, we are making that a reality. So please join us in making energy intelligent. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gustav. Our next startup has developed a very innovative device to detect a very nasty infection, not COVID. Here to tell you all about it is the founder of Genesis Bio, Andrea Favieri.
Hello, everyone. I am Andrea Favieri. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Genesis Bio. We are making rapid pathogen detection available where it's needed and when it's needed. This is my wife, Valentina, when she was waiting for our daughter, Ginevra. And this is Walter, my co-founder grandfather. They both experienced how devastating UTIs, urinary tract infection, can be for women, especially during pregnancy, and for the elderly or fragile. My wife was able to intervene in time and prevent dangerous complications for her and for Ginevra. But for Walter, results took several days, came back too late. He went into kidney failure, dialysis, and shortly after, he died. And is sadly one of the too many. because UTIs affect more than 400 million people worldwide every year, causing more than 240,000 deaths. And UTIs are one of the leading causes of AMR, which alone is responsible for over 1 million deaths per year. The issue is that detecting UTIs requires a trade-off between cost, timing, and accessibility, because our options are like this. We can use detection strips, which are fast, cheap, and portable, but have an accuracy rate of about 50%, and therefore a high risk of a false result. Otherwise, we can have a genetic test, which is accurate, but takes over half a day, and requires a lab and skilled personnel, and is very expensive, making it inaccessible for most. Finally, we can have a culture test, which is more affordable, but takes several days, requires a lab and skilled personnel, and is not the most accurate option. We've created a technology so you don't have to choose between the least worst option, but combines the benefit of all. Genesis is a patented genetic test platform that is rapid, affordable, can be stored and used anywhere, and is extremely accurate. Our lyophilized kits detect pathogen and antibiotic resistance. Our optical system, combined with our AI-powered algorithm, processes and displays the result on the device's screen and in the user-friendly app and dashboard. Anyone can use Genesis without a technician or a skilled practitioner. It's as easy to use as an espresso machine and as big as a toaster. And this is how it works. After collecting the sample, the user places the sample into the pre-filled kit's vial and places them in the device. The device searches for the genetic signature of the pathogen and the antibiotic resistance. Our AI-powered algorithm processes and displays the results in less than 30 minutes. And that's it. Now, an immediate treatment plan can be defined without fear of false result or antibiotic resistance. With Genesis, you get the best of all other options without any of the shortcomings. We are facing a 400 million Italian UTI testing market, which will become a 3.6 billion European market and a 12 billion global market. And we will approach this market by providing the device free of charge, since it has a bill of materials of around 500 euros, and generate recurring revenues by supplying kits to clinics, care facilities, and medical practices. We will also work with pharmacies so to facilitate and leverage their testing initiatives. We focus on high accuracy and accessibility, while our competition focuses on developing their established laboratory and rapid test markets. To date, we have received 400K in funding. We are working on 3 research projects with different timelines on UTIs, veterinary, and prosthetic joint infection kits, so to leverage our skills and the platform capabilities. We signed 2 LOIs on UTIs and 1 on veterinary kits. We filed 1 international patent for our UTI kit, and we are about to file 2 patents on the device, with more to come. In Q2 2025, we will apply for IVDR certification required to access the human health market on device and the UTI kit. And while we wait for the kit to be certified, we will start making revenues with the veterinary kits that do not require certification, luckily. And finally, science is the limit, because Genesis is a platform, and UTIs and veterinary kits are just the first steps. With the pipeline of kits that we have on animal, human, and environmental pathogen detection, we will have 1 platform for One Health, and we will be at the center of the WHO One Health challenges. We can do this because on one side, we have an incredible complementary team with experience and expertise ranging from device and molecular biology R&D to hospital diagnostics, business management, and go-to-market execution with partners like Roche Diagnostics. And on the other side, we have an awesome team of advisors and mentors. What we need is 800K to enhance our business development, start making revenues with the veterinary kits within the year, certify and launch the UTI kit within the next year, and continue developing our kits portfolio. And now, I'll wait for you at our booth to show you the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. All right. Our next startup taught me something very interesting, that the most important ingredient in making semiconductors is water. Please welcome Bjorn Holmstrom to talk about NSS water.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Björn, CEO and founder of NSS Water. And we are reinventing semiconductors one drop of water at a time. The world runs on semiconductors. It's part of our everyday life. As a matter of fact, the average person will use more than 6,000 semiconductors each day. And the demand is only increasing. Semiconductor manufacturers need to meet this demand. And by doing so, they need water. Lots of water. Let me explain. For producing semiconductors today, there can be over 100 steps. More than 85% of those steps require purified water. To manufacture purified water is a complex process. Today, they can remove particles larger than 200 nanometers. That's 400 times smaller than the width of a human hair. But still, that's not enough. Only 35% of most advanced semiconductors pass quality control. Next generation semiconductors will see a manufacturing cost increase by 40%. Today, they use over 8,000 liters of purified water for one single wafer through the manufacturing process. High water usage leads to high operational cost for the purified water. And that's why we launched NSS Water, a patent water purification technology that removes all contamination above 5 nanometers. That's 18,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair. Let me explain how that works. Our purification model has a hot feed, a membrane, and a cold feed. And by convection, we extract the pure water molecule through the membrane, it condenses, and we have pure water. We deliver highest purity at point of use and in a modular way. With our solution, semiconductor manufacturers can increase yield by up to 20%, decrease cost by 17%, reduce water use with up to 90%, meaning that the operational cost for purified water will decrease with 80%. And what does that mean in numbers? Let me show you. For one single semiconductor manufacturing, increasing yield by 1% can mean extra profit of 18 million euro per month. The market is massive. New factories are being built all around the world, and big investments are being made into semiconductor manufacturing equipment. We plan to reach this market by engaging with the big institutes to do validation for our technology, and by doing so, we're reaching our customers. NSS Water offers a level of purity that none of our competitors can match. We do it with ease of use, at point of use, while competitors have more complex integrations. Our business model is that we license our hardware for 250K per system. We have recurring revenue in service agreements at 10K per year. Today, we are in talks with the big institutes. We have signed relevant letters of intent. We have NDAs in place. We're signing distribution agreement in South Korea and Taiwan, which are the biggest markets for semiconductor manufacturing. We have outreach and talks with big semiconductor manufacturing and equipment manufacturers as well. Our team has great experience for semiconductor industry, innovation development, and sustainable solutions. We're supported by a magnificent team of great advisors, all with experience from semiconductor industry, helping us on our path forward. We're raising 1.5 million euro that will take us to industry partners, paid pilots, and paying customers. And I invite you to be a part of our journey forward. Come and talk with me later in our booth. Be happy to meet you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bjorn. All right, this is Europe. You all look fantastic, but if you want to look even better, you're going to love this next startup. Please welcome the founder of Glacius Biome, Nihat Aliyev.
Hi, my name is Nihat, and I'm the CEO and founder of Glacius Biome, where I will show you how we're revolutionizing the future of personalized skincare. So here's the thing. 2/3 of the people, when they wake up and look at the mirror, they don't like what they see. Another 1/3, they're just lying to themselves. Let me show you my beautiful sister. This is her face after 3rd dermatological visit in 2.5 months. And she's not alone. She's one of the 65% of the people who suffer chronically from bad skin conditions. And on average, it takes about 4 attempts to get the possible treatment. This is because whole derm industry is dependent on trial and error method. The issue is they don't have access to the right technology to make data-driven decisions. Due to this lack of technology, 76% of all first visits to the beauty professionals result in misdiagnosis or mistreatment. And each time this happens, there's a potential risk of scarring, burning, and more serious tissue issues. And due to trial and error, it takes about 20 weeks to get to the results. And while the clinics are busy trying new approach on each of their patients, patients are leaving. They don't have time, money, or will to wait around for the clinics. And that's why we created Glacius Skin Intelligence Test. Data-driven, AI-powered, artificial skin test. So, and this is how it works. We take a swab of your face, it's only 10 seconds, which takes account the microbiome of your face. We look at the friendly bacteria that forms shield around your face and protects you against the environment. It's worth to notice we don't take any human DNA, no FDA approval required. Next, we take about 15-second video of your face to quantify wrinkles, pigmentation, acne, and whatever else you can think of. And then lastly, we take account environmental factors around you and your personal habits. All of this data goes to our proprietary Glacius engine. As an output, we're able to give your seasonal microbiome journey, so we quantify the skin barrier throughout the year. We give you weekly progress assessment, so you know if your treatment is actually working from the last time you visited your doctor and you've been using the products. And we give you your daily personalized product regimens to keep your skincare precise and personal, just like your skin. So with Glacius technology, our success rate is up to 85%, which is 4 times higher than before. It only takes 4 weeks instead of 20 weeks before, and the client retention rate is up to 80% from the miserable 30% before. So our target market is big and growing fast. We are currently in $2 billion AI skincare diagnostic market, and in next 6 months, with our next product, we're entering to the $12 billion market. Our business model is simple, yet effective. We work B2B and sell to skincare professionals, skincare brands, and beauty clinics. Next, we will introduce our B2C business, where we sell to pharmacies, to online retailers, and we generate revenue from our product affiliates. Our traction is good. We launched 2 months ago, and as we're obsessed with our clients, they seem to be obsessed with us as well. So we signed 3 clinics already. We're in progress to sign 1 big skincare brand, an additional clinic. We're filing for our patent and FTO, and we will outreach the bigger beauty conglomerates in the future. So what sets Glacius apart from other competitors is our data-driven approach and a combination of biological and the visual data, which brings out effectiveness of our product. Team behind Glacius is as interdisciplinary as the product itself. I am the bioengineer. Dr. Badirli leads our AI efforts, while Dr. Williams is leading our microbiome research. I want to thank all of our advisors who helped us to come to this position. And today, we are raising 1 million euros to achieve 100 clinics, to partner with more than 10 skincare brands, and achieve 750K RRR. Well, if you want to look better or learn about people who want to look better, come find us in our booth and say hi. Thank you.
Thank you, Nihat. Lots of startups are developing telehealth for humans. This next one has developed telehealth for our wonderful pets. Please welcome the founder of Televet, Adriana Massino and Peppino.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Adriana. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Televet. And this is Peppino, my son. I found him in a shelter 4 years ago, and Peppino suffers from a chronic disease. One night, he felt terribly sick, and I didn't know what was happening. I called my vet. He was not available because it was nighttime. I tried to call about 20 vet practices nearby, and none of them answered. So I think I spent one of the worst nights in my life. I didn't know what was happening with my son, and I had to wait until the following day to get into a vet practice that opened at 9 a.m. I'm not alone because 1 billion pets have already experienced a similar situation. There's actually a huge problem. There are not enough vets today to meet the demand, while the number of pets is increasing. And because of that, millions of pets are dying every year. That's why we have created Televet, a platform offering access to vets 24/7, either via telehealth or via vets, mobile vets visiting patients at their home. The pet market is a huge one. The total worth is 500 billion, and there is a yearly increase of 10.5%. In terms of business model, for Televet, it's pretty simple. We target, on the one hand, pet parents. We charge them a commission and also a subscription giving access to 24/7 vets. And on the other hand, we target corporate clients, for example, pet insurance companies or corporates willing to offer telehealth as employee benefits. In terms of go-to-market, we have two main targets. First ones are vets. We target them through traditional channels such as emailing, trade shows, or specialized press. And vets use and recommend our solution to their clients, pet parents. So we acquire pet parents through vets recommendation, SEO, and social media. In terms of traction, today we have a fully working platform with clients in France, but our platform is available in English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, different languages. So we have a product that's ready to scale internationally. We are already generating 24,000 euros monthly revenues. We have already helped over 30,000 pets get better care either through telehealth or through mobile vets. We are working with 5 corporate partners and with 60 vet practices. And we are backed by some of the top accelerators in the US and in Europe, Berkeley SkyDeck, and also Station F in Paris. We have also pretty good ranking on Google, so our clients are quite happy. We have 4.5 average reviews on our Google My Business page. And last but not least, I launched this project a couple of years ago with my great co-founder, Thierry. He's a French vet with over 40 years experience in the field. And myself, I have a business background. I am a Cambridge University and Berkeley graduate, and I have about 8 years experience in pet care. And also special thanks to our advisors that helped us realize this project. Elizabeth from Berkeley SkyDeck, Juan Miguel, Eduardo, also from Berkeley SkyDeck, and Antoine, he lives in Berkeley, and he's a Google veteran. Veterinary telehealth is a validated model. It's validated already in human healthcare, as Caroline mentioned, but it's also validated in animal health. In the US, we have a similar startup called AirVet that raised 50 million. In Sweden, we have FirstVet that raised 100 million. Those startups are doing great, and we are replicating a validated model in Europe, in Southern Europe, where there is nobody. So in Italy, France, Spain, Greece, Portugal, we don't have a big player, so that's why we are here. We are currently raising 1 million euros. With this money, the goal is to reach 150 new vet practices, to acquire 100,000 new clients, to work with 20 new corporate partners, and also to develop our product, adding some AI in order to help vets make safer diagnosis. And the final goal is to become the leading digital veterinary practice in Southern Europe. So please visit our website and also visit us at our booth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adriana and Peppino. All right, our next startup is building a supercharged sales AI agent to supercharge sales, and he's supercharging his own sales. Please welcome Alberto Garagnani of Zell.
Hi, my name is Alberto, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zell. At Zell, we double your sales with our AI sales manager. In the world, there are 100 million salespeople, and 80 of them are bad. How do I know? Me and my co-founder were in this 80 million. And we were bad because we had no sales methodology, we weren't receiving feedback, and as a result, we had low confidence. It turns out we are not alone. 70% of salespeople don't use the sales methodology. 1 in 5 receive feedback, and 89% of them reports having low confidence. But what if you could hire the perfect manager that implements a custom methodology, provides constant feedback, and boosts your team confidence? That's why at Zell, we are building the world's first AI sales manager tailored to your industry. And the first one is Dave. With Dave, you can create, deliver, and measure any sales training plan. Let me show you how it works. You will start having a call with Dave and explain him what are your sales challenges. He then will go online, research your company, your industry, and build a tailored training plan and a methodology. Let's hear him out.
Tell me, what specific challenges are you or your team currently facing in sales?
The team is not particularly good at running discovery in general.
Based on what you're saying, you might find it useful to adopt a framework like MEDDIC.
Yeah, can you help me implement that?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to help your team implement MEDDIC effectively.
After this conversation, Dave goes on Slack and messages Jake, my SDR, and he gets him to train with smart nudges and gamification. Jake goes to the platform, checks the leaderboard, and then he goes training. He talks to Michael. Michael is an AI replica of our ICP. He gets a call, he implements MEDDIC right, and he got 160 points. And then Dave reports back to me on how the performance went and suggests next steps. I approve them, and he's going to go ahead and implement them, exactly like a human would. With Dave, sales reps get 90% more methodology adherence, 5 out of 5 receive feedback, and they report a boost in confidence of 30%. If we look at the number of salespeople in the world and the spend per each for his sales training, we have a 144 billion market. In Europe, that's 30 billion. And in our target market, EU tech companies with more than 20 sales reps, it's 335 million. You can hire Dave for 1.8K per employee managed a year. Dave is not only better than most sales managers. It's 80% cheaper. In the marketplace now, you have solutions that either have high engagement but are not scalable, or that have low engagement and are scalable. So on one side, you have sales training agencies that are great. People get in a room, they listen to what is being said, and maybe they even put it in practice for a couple of weeks, but then they stop. Or you have tools. You buy them, you pay them even a bit, but nobody uses them. Zelle is the first solution that has the high engagement of a sales training agency with the scalability of software. In the last 4 months, we closed 60K in ARR. 7 customers, one of which the Italian scale-up translated, and have more than 500K in pipeline with companies like Team System and DRK, leading health insurance in Germany, in there. Behind it, my co-founder Moritz worked 5 years in sales in a bank. Then he quit that job and became an amazing developer, went to work at Capgemini, and in his last role, he was a software engineer. He was founding software engineer in a company building an AI learning platform for blue-collar workers. Myself, I built my first startup at 19, getting more than 100 students to learn a new language for cheap price. After that, I went on working at unicorns like Joker and Deliveroo. We are supported by amazing SkyDeck advisors. Just to name one, Alan has more than 20 years experience in sales. He was ex-VP of customer success at Square, and he has more than 20 years experience building teams, sales teams across the globe. Today, we are raising 1 million to reach 2 million in ARR in the next 18 months, close 20 large customers within our ACP, and build the version 1 of Dave. If your sales team is not using Dave yet, come by the booth and have a chat with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Alberto. All right, we've made it. The last startup has something very, very tasty. Please welcome the founder of Luana Foods, Marco Iotti.
Hi, everyone. Everyone loves bananas. Banana is the most sold fruit in the world. We love banana because they're cheap, nicely nutrients. Industry loves them because they're easy to ship, good margin, it's always the same, very reliable. It's a clone, so it's always there. If you have kids, you also know that it's pretty good and practical. Now, we also love sushi, quite a bit, it appears. So from a market, sushi is part of the seafood market that today is 360 billion. It's going to be 837 plus in 2032. However, sushi is not bananas. First of all, to reach 830 billion, we need 2.5 planet Earth with this fish that is in the sea today. Majority is crashed and overfished. Second point, on the supply chain, is the exact opposite of bananas. It's very difficult. We have to manage cold chain, short shelf life. Now, that brings some issues. Price. It increased in the last year 300%. The quality decreased. If you go in a poke bowl or a sushi restaurants today, the quality that you find is not the quality you were finding 5 or 6 years ago. It's the belly of the salmon, for example, you'll see is a very white, is a bit slimish. We used to give this quality of fish to pet food a few years ago. At the same time, farming, there's no business. There's no margin. Every year, the European Union gives 1.3 billion as subsidies. Very bad business to be inside. Second part, because of the shelf life, short shelf life, cold chain, complication, costly, half of it is thrown away. In the United States only, is 54 billion. We fish 2 fish, 1 gets thrown away every single year. That's where Luana comes into the picture. and we started from the problem. Say, okay, how can we fix that? We lost sushi, there's a market. How are we going to give an easy-to-manage, reliable fillet? And we understood that we have to build a technology that makes a shelf-stable, low-cost, high-margin sushi fillet. And we do it plant-based. Now, plant-based is not new. You'll find a lot. It's a great idea. Incredibly bad execution so far. They don't taste good, what you find in the supermarket. And by the way, they can sell it in the supermarket only because they're very, very low margin. They cannot sell it to restaurants or to the retail. Oh, sorry, to the consumer. Now, the nutritional point of view, the label is bad. There's a lot of E numbers. Don't want to eat that. Price is high because they're using technology that already existed. Margin, I don't know if they have any. And in any case, the supply chain is the same. Cold chain, you keep it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's all. Now, with Bluana and with the technology that we developed, we managed to obtain all the characteristics that are great for the consumer and for the industry. We have more than 9,000 people that bought our product. They were happy. They prefer it 8 out of 10 prefer it over the traditional sushi. You probably can test it afterward. They're all natural ingredients. We start from extractions of natural ingredients. We are 40% less expensive. We still obtain 75 to 85% on margin. Last but not least, we give 12 to 24 months of shelf stability. You keep it outside of the fridge. You don't compete in the fridge space. How we do that? Well, we'll build a technology to do this. It's called high moisture, high nutrients injection. We have a PCT application, and it does obtain exactly what I mentioned before. A product is great for the consumer, and it's great for the industry, and it's great for us because of the margin. Now, and if you are scared of tariff, which is the big word of 2025, this is a modular technology. With 250 Ks of investment, you already produce 40 kilo an hour. You can have one in here, one in US, one in Mexico, wherever you want. Now, our go-to-markets, we had to start making the fillet and making people understand that there is a better way to make sushi. So we start selling very nice margin, 90% if we do direct to consumer, we can gross margin. Huh? And then if we do it through supermarket chains, we get 65 to 78%. Now, in the long term, we would like to license it. Productions is a tough job. We like to give it to others. We license the machine, and we license the ingredient. We sell the ingredients. It's a bit like what McDonald's do. Not exactly, but. And this type of go-to-market strategy has been validated. We have Japanese airlines, for example, is very happy to be able to do it themselves if they can. And in 2 days, tomorrow actually, we're going to go to talk with Coppa Italia. Now, market is enormous, so we need to grab some, starting from somewhere. Our first target would be restaurants, chains. And we're going to get, I think, of course, we think easily, as every founders, in the next 3 years, 36 million. Now, the team is a team that delivered already. We have, as a collective, already 8 patents granted. We have a successful exit. We have scientific papers. We launched especially 50+ products in Asia, Europe, United States. I, myself, and Florian are the founders. Florian had a business of fish product, sold it. Myself, I'm an ex-Nespresso. Built my first startup in 2017, sold it in 2021 to DSM, which is a Fortune 500 company. The small team, because we were 4, was already able, from 2022, to raise 450,000 euro from the best incubators in the world, SkyDeck, Provec, and Bring in Hong Kong. We won more than 200,000 in grants. We sold more than 9,000 SKUs. We did the patent. We developed the technology. And mostly, we had a very good feedback from the industry. Japanese airlines, COP, others, but also on the very, very top level. We work with 3 Michelin stars chef, and we're very proud, especially one of them, which is a Michelin star chef in Japan, Mr. Hiroshi, that basically told us there is one characteristic in very high quality sushi that is very important, is the melting in the mouth capabilities. And your product reached that. You can try it afterward, if he was right or wrong. Now we're raising right now 750,000 CLA or SAFE to then complete a complete round the next year in 3 million. With the 750,000, we're going to be able to buy the machines that we developed. We already have a contract with the producers. Install it, start selling, get some numbers to get a higher evaluation in 12 months after that. Now, no one today is investing in a vegan brand. No one. That's past. And no one should start it. But the trend is to invest in technology. That's where we focused ourselves. Lately, Project Eden, which is doing kind of ham or meat, they developed the technology. That's the only way to be competitive with the big corps like Nestle and such. I thank you. I was the last one, so you guys are free after that.
Thank you, Marco. All right, that's batch 19. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Cariplo team, for putting this on. Please, another round of applause. We're going to invite the founders up here. Show them all off again. Come on up. Peppino, come on, Peppino. Come on, Peppino. Ardia, come on up. Thank you, everybody, for coming. A nice bow. Here we go. All right, enjoy the expo. Oh, picture time. All right.